In recent years, the trope of an evil Superman has gained popularity. Characters like Omni, Homelander, and Brightburn offer intriguing what-if scenarios, exploring themes of power, humanity, and corruption. Even DC Comics has delved into these ideas in their Injustice series and with alternate versions of Superman, such as Overman. However, among these Superman-like characters, the Plutonian from the Irredeemable comic series stands out as perhaps the most evil. What sets him apart is that he was once a true hero and a role model for other superheroes in his universe. Due to childhood trauma, massive societal expectations, and constant pressure, the Plutonian eventually snapped and went on a killing spree, murdering millions. In today's video, we'll explore the story of the Plutonian. The Plutonian was once a leading superhero and a member of a heroic team known as the Paradigm. Often described as a Boy Scout, he was looked up to by other heroes. However, to everyone's shock, he snapped one day and killed millions of people. One of his first victims was his young sidekick Samsara, whom he lobotomized using his heat vision. Following this, he embarked on a rampage in his home city, Sky City, completely destroying it and killing nearly all its inhabitants. He then targeted one of his former teammates, Hornet, the only member without superpowers, and murdered him along with his entire family. The remaining members of the Paradigm assembled, desperate to understand the reason behind his transformation and to find a way to stop him. Even Plutonian's former villains tried to collaborate with him, but they too met their end at his hands. His actions caused worldwide panic. During a United Nations meeting, one representative called for global unity against this threat. However, some nations were hesitant to fight an invulnerable superhero. Representatives from Kenya, China, and Japan offered him concessions such as wealth, citizenship, and political power. Overhearing this discussion with his super hearing, the Plutonian arrived at the scene. He froze the representative advocating for unity and ordered the others to continue debating. He then picked the representative of Singapore and asked about his offer. Despite the representative's expressed gratitude, the Plutonian sensed his insincerity and fear. In retaliation, he flew into space and unleashed a meteor shower on Singapore. When his former teammates arrived to help, he allowed them to save only 10 people out of millions. He then sank the entire country into the ocean, killing millions and destroying the nation. The actions of the Plutonian drove the American government to such desperation that they even summoned the literal devil to take him down. Fortunately, the Paradigm defeated this being, but they missed the opportunity to eliminate the Plutonian during the battle. However, one of Plutonian's former allies, Cubit, had an ace up his sleeve. Hornet, a superhero Plutonian killed early on, had made a deal with an advanced alien species known as the Vespin. In exchange for unique technology and information about various alien worlds, the Vespin agreed to aid against Plutonian if needed. Despite believing in Plutonian's inherent goodness, Hornet couldn't shake the feeling that someone with such power was dangerous, so he created this contingency plan. After Hornet's death, Cubit discovered the plan and contacted the aliens. The Vespin arrived, managed to overpower, and captured the Plutonian, eventually sending him to an intergalactic mental asylum. Earth celebrated Plutonian's defeat, unaware that he would soon return. He escaped captivity, assembled a team of insanely powerful aliens, and returned to Earth with a vengeance. His first act was to carve his symbol across the North American continent using his heat vision, destroying countless cities and killing millions. His continued killing spree was even more brutal, causing widespread riots and instability as the public lost faith in the Paradigm and the governments that had promised lasting peace. To better understand what caused Plutonian to snap, we have to look at his childhood and his career as a superhero. Plutonian was created by two powerful cosmic entities known as Elios, who record and observe universes. Fascinated by Earth, they created a probe to explore humanity, which turned into a human baby in response to the strong emotions of a mother who had recently killed her newborn child. His first parent, a severely damaged woman, eventually tried to take her own life, and his, by filling her car with gas. Plutonian survived and was taken to a foster home. His first foster family initially welcomed Plutonian, but after they had their biological son, whom they described as a miracle, Plutonian accidentally injured the baby with his super strength, causing lifelong damage. This led to his return to foster care. His next foster parents were in an abusive relationship. Although he loved his mother dearly, his father was an abuser. In an attempt to protect his mother during a fight, Plutonian pushed his father away, hoping it would earn his mother's love, but it only instilled fear and paranoia in her. One day, while at school, Plutonian heard a gun cocking using his super hearing. He rushed home with his super speed, only to find his foster mother dead. This tragic cycle repeated, with those who were supposed to love him becoming terrified of his power. Plutonian often withdrew from society, living alone in the woods and becoming a local legend. One local teenager clashed with him in the woods in an attempt to catch him. This teenager would later become Max Damage, one of Plutonian's greatest enemies. Later in life, Plutonian visited his first foster parents, who had lived in isolation and hadn't uttered a single word since he left, out of fear that he'd find them using his super hearing. Sensing their fear during the confrontation, he killed them, but left their special needs son alive. The only parent who wasn't terrified of Plutonian's power was Bill Hartigan, a foster father who adopted him during his teenage years. Bill was a loving but stern parent who taught Plutonian to control his powers and, most importantly, to use them for good. Plutonian described him as the only parent excited about his powers rather than terrified. Bill instilled in him the idea of helping others. For example, during Christmas, Bill bought Plutonian a gift he wanted, but then ordered him to wrap it back up and donate it to kids in a local hospital. Bill even came up with the name Plutonian and crafted his superhero persona. Unfortunately, Bill passed away in a car accident after learning his wife had cancer, though Plutonian speculated he took his own life. Plutonian embraced Bill's ideals and became a hero, though his superhero career was fraught with difficulty. Plutonian later admitted he became a hero because he craved love and praise, which meant every bit of criticism hurt his ego immensely. People often criticized him for not doing enough. A series of incidents ultimately caused him to snap. First, he revealed himself to his girlfriend, which upset her. She rushed out and told her co-workers at the radio station, and a radio host planned to announce this information. In response, Plutonian flew to space and destroyed their satellite, threatening everyone present to keep his identity private. A more serious incident involved Dr. Seabrook, a scientist who criticized Plutonian for not releasing alien technology to the public. Plutonian met Seabrook and shared some technology, knowing it was dangerous. As a failsafe, he gave Seabrook a device that would emit a sound Plutonian could hear with his super hearing. During his rescues, Plutonian kept hearing calls for help from around the world. While helping a sailor, he was asked to fix the boat, which upset him as he saw the people he saved as ungrateful and demanding. Feeling overwhelmed, he flew to the moon to have a few minutes of peace. Coincidentally, this was when Seabrook tried to call him for help. The shared technology proved fatal and unleashed a virus that killed hundreds of children. Plutonian tried to conceal his involvement, but his sidekick Samsara learned about it, leading to his lobotomization by Plutonian. These incidents, coupled with constant public pressure and childhood trauma, caused Plutonian to snap. This marked the beginning of his rampage, forever changing him and the world.